Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Trigger Warning Podcast. I'm your host, Kim Osorio.
And I am Titi Torrez. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to another episode where I am battling the sun.
She's battling the sun and the light. She's battling the sun and the light.
It's
but
so
it feels
funny because I
good.
moved the chairs up so that I wouldn't look too yellow because of the sun coming in. And now the sun shifted to where I moved the chairs.
It's new for us. We're gonna get used to all of this, and I think that the lesson here for us women is to just accept ourselves.
Yes.
Accept ourselves. You know, on the last episode, we spoke about aging, and I posted a clip talking about how I hated aging. Right? So many people. I want to say thank you to everybody that jumped in my comments just to make me feel better. Just to say, Kim, you look great, because it did make me feel better. It made me feel better.
It got a lot of traction in the comments. People were mean to me.
No.
Yes, some of the men in your comments said some really terrible things.
Are you serious?
Yes, some person said I look like Skeletor. But honestly, it didn't bother me because I am so confident in my own skin.
You're beautiful.
The comments don't mean anything. Plus, I'm married to a guy who takes very good care of me.
Ew.
So I don't really give a damn what you think, as long as he's good. But I will say though, I think it's the makeup artist that you use when you switch your makeup artist.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do make you look different. And in that particular episode, the makeup artist did make me look different. So I didn't take his comment personally.
Good.
Because I really have thick skin for this type of stuff.
Good.
You know, I've been in media for over 20 years. So people really do say a lot of cruel things behind a computer that they would never say to your face. But I'm also very conscious of like certain makeup artists. I don't know if you are like that as well. It's like you have to kind of train them how to do your face.
Absolutely.
And when shout out to Yanni, who's my makeup artist, Viva Doll Beauties on social, when she's like traveling or isn't available, sometimes I go to another makeup artist and they don't know my face as good as she does because she's been doing my makeup since 2014.
Wow.
That's over 10 years.
Yeah. So she's
she
used to you.
knows,
She knows your skin. See, these are the things that we as podcasters have to deal with as women.
Yeah, absolutely.
That I don't think, some men do though. Some men do get there. Oh yeah, some men you see in them podcasts, absolutely, they get touched up. They would never admit it.
They cover their grays.
They cover their grays.
I do see some podcasters who have the darkest beards.
It's too dark. Y'all look crazy.
And they have the spray in their hairline.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Because it's for us as women, you know, just aging and like all of the things that we're dealing with. And, you know, when you talk about the makeup artist, that's something that I never really wore makeup coming up, like a little bit here and there, right? But again,
it wasn't a thing like it is now.
No, it wasn't.
It's a thing now.
No, it's,
glam is a thing.
When you see people putting glam on so heavy that they're actually becoming someone else, have you seen those YouTube?
No. Yeah, I've seen influencers, quote unquote, that, and I'll be trying to tell my son this because everything on TikTok he wants to order to the house. Every skin product, every hygiene product. And I'm just like, they do a great job at marketing the kids. But one thing I tried to explain to him is that 9 times out of 10, that influencer has a filter on top of all the work that they got done. Like I've seen some of these young girls, Kim, I'm not gonna lie, in person, they look 20 years older than we do. First of all, they're they OD off Ozempic, where their face starts to do this. Then they get so much tweaking done to their face so young. And then they pile on the makeup. And then they be on Instagram with the filters on top of all the work they just paid thousands of dollars to get. And it looks crazy in person. I'd be like, damn, I thought you looked like this. And then in person, it's crazy. So I say all that to say, if you're young, preserve your skin as much as possible before you start tweaking and doing all these things. I'm not against like Botox as you age, tweak a little Botox, do a little bit of, you know, because I do I just got some laser work to do the little bumps that they're called. I forgot exactly what they're called, but we should have the dermatologist on the show. But it's when your pores get clogged and they have like, it looks like raised bumps on your face. So I get those like kind of lasered. I just experiment with that, and I'm all for a little touch up.
A little touch up here and there.
In my 20s, I wouldn't dare have touched my face.
Me neither.
Because you're just developing. You know,
Yeah.
you want to preserve as much as you can. And like my son has this thing where he orders every skincare product, every hair care product. The other day, Kim, he ordered sea moss to the house. Sea moss.
Seriously?
Sea moss.
That's
Like at
wait,
13
and your son
years
is
old.
your son is 13. See, my son is into colognes,
Oh.
so he's always ordering colognes. And
Yeah.
my daughter, who is 17, she's big on the beauty thing. Like she's been doing makeup since she was very young. And I've even learned a lot of things from her. Like I also didn't do a lot with skincare, right? Like now I'm looking for everything. Where's the retinol? Where's the retinol? How much percentage is in here?
But the kids be trying to use retinol at like 13, 14
Yeah.
years old. It's like, yo, whoa.
And you have to be careful with retinol because you can't put it on your skin and let the sun hit it. Like it's very
you have
strong.
to be
Yeah.
very careful. And like I was telling my son when I saw the delivery to the house, I'm like looking at the back of the sea moss vitamin packages, and I'm like, whoa. You're not even hitting puberty yet. Like let your body naturally come into its own. And then I'm like, all you need right now is a Flintstone multivitamin and
Not a Flintstone
yeah, remember
multivitamin.
the Flintstone multi?
First of all,
They got the teenage
the Flintstone
gummies now.
multivitamin was too tasty. Like I used to, so I already know it wasn't good for me because I used to eat those and then like sneak another Flintstone vitamin because why did it taste so good? It probably has red dye, number 5 and all that in it.
But I'm just like, I'm big on like, and so I took him to the dermatologist, and the dermatologist looked at his routine and was like, okay, cut back on this, cut back on that. It's okay. You can have the moisturizer and the face cleanser, but you don't need, his hair care is crazy. He orders every deep conditioning. I don't know any boy whose hygiene is well kept as him. He has 30 colognes,
Well, that's good then.
30 hair care products. And so I took him to the dermatologist, and he just had like a real talk with him. He's like, scale all of this back. And then so he's showing him, what about this? I saw this on TikTok. What about this? And he's like, you don't need that.
TikTok.
You don't need this. But it's TikTok.
It's TikTok.
It's TikTok.
It's TikTok.
I'm happy he's into his hygiene. I'm really happy about that. He cares about his appearance. Girl, he has to have a fresh haircut. He has to have it all.
Yes.
But I do think that there needs to be a limit to what you use so early. And also understanding that a lot of these folks who sell these products are hiding behind a filter. They are filtering their faces in their body, and it's unrealistic. Like, and that's why a lot of young girls struggle
Right.
and have a lot of insecurity because they think that they're supposed to look like this at 13 years old. And it's humanly impossible.
Well, let me say this because that's why I think you're doing things like the Leadership Summit, right?
Yes.
Like that you just did. And congrats on that.
Thank you.
What a success.
It was beautiful.
I'm very supportive of
Shout out to Lehman College.
Shout out to Lehman College. I think that that's an amazing thing to do, to be able to go back into the community, right? And I do think that we have to share these stories with the youth, with people coming up, because this is the problem. Like I struggle with my daughters with this, right? I remember when my daughter came to me and told me that when she was going to be 18, she wanted to get a nose job.
A nose job?
When I tell you, and I'm not just saying this because this is my kids, my daughter has the perfect little nose.
Your daughter is beautiful.
The perfect little nose. But she was like, I want to get a nose job. I'm like, what? I don't understand it. But then in studying what's going on, I think just with social media, within the culture, with, our young women and them feeling like they're not enough because it's all like this crazy competition online.
It is.
So,
and they have so much access more than what we did.
Yes.
And that's why the leadership conference was very important for me to do, because I wanted to teach what I felt was missing in the culture.
Right.
And a lot of times these young girls get into the game and they feel like they have to look like their favorite celebrity.
Yes.
And not realizing if you go back 2 or 3 years, their favorite celebrity didn't even look like that.
Do you ever see those old, you know what, I love looking at those old pictures of Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
I'm always like, who is this person? Like,
there's this show on YouTube I'm obsessed with. There's this doctor on YouTube who literally breaks down before and after videos. Oh my God. He's a plastic surgeon doctor. And he's like, this is da-da-da-da, and this is da-da-da-da, and then this, I'm like, and I go down a rabbit hole, and these folks look like
those
two different
Kardashians
people.
and those Jenners. And
Yeah.
like, when you look at the old videos of them, you can see it. But it's like, they did a good job with gradually changing themselves over the years, right? Like,
I
it was
mean,
like
some
little,
no,
then bow.
They look
A whole different
unrealistic.
person.
Like, Khloe doesn't even look like herself. Like,
Yeah.
Khloe Kardashian looks like a brand
A
new
different person. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can do that, I think, you know, like with not just surgery and whatever, like, you know, your face changes. I look at my face all the time. I'm like, wow, your face really changed.
Yeah.
Like, you really don't look
Well,
the
they
way that you
say
used to look.
every 10 years, your face changes.
Changes.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
But with that being said, I would rather these young girls feel comfortable in changing themselves naturally than feeling so much pressure to do it because of social media. Because at 19 years old, or you know, or in your 20s, you may not even like that new face that you put on later.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, it might be just more of a mental thing. That's why a lot of these social network places are being sued now. Facebook, Instagram, there's all these lawsuits happening
insane.
because these young girls are like committing suicide and all of these things because of the pressures that they face on social media. It's a very challenging new way of parenting through that. You know what I mean?
That being said, I promise you guys, when we open up next time, we will not talk about how we look. Oh my God, isn't that bad? But look at my nails. I could not finish my nails before I got here. This is like the struggle of juggling all these different things. Look at these nails. This is horrible.
It's not that bad.
This is horrible. I did them myself because I didn't have time to go to the nail salon. You don't think they're that bad?
Look, they're not bad. Before I got here, I had to go to PT training for my shoulder. So, like, speaking of aging, you talked about premenopause the last time.
I did not. Don't do that, TT. I did not talk about
Yes, you
premenopause.
did.
You baited me. You were like, "Are you in menopause?" I'm like, "Oh my
Well,
God."
we talked about it on the show. So you talked about that, and then this episode, I want to talk about just your body not functioning right. Like,
Right.
like
Right.
your muscles.
No, I
this right side of my body, I just want to throw
frozen.
it away.
It's frozen right now. Look, like my knee is killing me. My knee is killing me. I did like Zumba like 3 times this week, and I was so excited because they switched the days. And then I came here today, and I was like, why am I limping?
Yo, this whole right side of my body, I just want to give it to somebody else, and then give me, when I tell you
You're in
the
pain?
work that he did on my shoulder.
Oh gosh.
Was so painful today. I was like, oh my God, I wanted to cry. He was like, it's
Aw.
okay, you could cry. I felt the pain from my shoulder all the way to my hands. That's how bad it was.
So is it like physical therapy that you're
It's
doing?
physical therapy.
Yeah.
They said I had a rotator cuff
Oh,
injury from weightlifting in the gym.
really?
Yeah. Because I stopped running so much because of my right knee.
Right.
So my doctor was like, take it easy. You know, the older you get, women need to put on muscle.
Right.
Hit the gym, lift weights. So I was like, okay, I'm going to hit the gym hard, because they got this new saying now, unbig your back. You heard of that?
Of course I heard of unbig your back. Don't y'all dare tell me to unbig my back. Oh, God. Imagine if someone told me to unbig my back, I would go home and cry.
So,
my
yeah, I was in the gym.
So now no one was spotting you.
No one was spotting
Yeah.
me. And I was going so hard, and now I messed up my shoulder.
Wow. So now you have to do the physical therapy. It'll heal.
Yeah.
You just have to really take care of it. I feel like
Yeah.
anytime something like that happens, because I've broken bones before, like I broke my ankle.
Wow.
I used to dance. I broke my thumb. Like, it hurts. It's painful.
so
It's
painful.
like throbbing when you break the...
Especially when you're sleeping at night and it stiffs up. I'm just like, oh my God. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
we are here in the Bronx.
We
We're
are.
We're gonna fix ourselves together.
and the Yankees, speaking of the Bronx, they are going to the World Series.
First of all, I'm so happy. I want to say shout out to the Yankees, the Bronx, all of the Yankee fans out there. It's very exciting. You know, when I lived on 165th and Grand Concourse,
Oh, by the stadium.
that's where I first lived, my first house ever up until I was 7, 8 years old. You could go to the roof. I'm sure you can't do this now. You could go to the roof and
watch
you
the
could
game?
see the games.
I
and
used
my
to
father
live-
used to take me up to the roof and we would watch the Yankee games.
Wow.
Isn't that a wonderful memory?
beautiful.
This is like, I'm about to show my age. I'm talking like Willie Randolph playing second base. You know what I'm saying? Like
'cause I don't even know
Reggie
who that is.
Jackson. Like this is the
know who
Yankees that
that
I remember, and I am ashamed to say that I don't know anything about baseball like I used to. So when they won, I literally just saw it the next day all over social media. I was like, oh, amazing. The Yankees are in the
It's
World Series.
so
When's the
crazy.
last time they were in the World Series? I don't even remember. Clearly this is not a sports podcast, you guys.
I used to live on 750 Grand Concourse, on the corner of 156 and Grand Concourse, with a park right across from the park. And so when the games would happen, everybody would be outside. It would be like a movie. And I can hear,
You could
the
hear the
games.
stadium, yeah.
Yeah, from my building. And I used to get off the train right there. And there was this little Spanish restaurant. Oh my God, they had the best rice and beans on the planet.
Of course.
So we would sit on a corner, order the rice and beans, sit and hear the game. Me and my homegirl Janta, shout out to my best friend, and we would have a good time.
Amazing memories.
Yeah.
And I think that we can confidently say that the best rice and beans
Is in
on
the
the
Bronx.
planet is definitely in the Bronx.
Yes.
Like I gotta own that one for us because I make some great rice and beans at home,
Me
and
too.
it comes from being from the Bronx. All you Bronx.
I'm making that tonight for dinner.
that what you're making?
That's my son's favorite. When I was pregnant with him, all I ate was a big pot of rice and beans.
See, I
I
can't
couldn't
eat it
eat
anymore like
anything
that.
else
I can't
but-
make it like that anymore.
Oh, my
I eat
gosh.
one plate of rice and beans, I'm 300 pounds the next day. Wait, let me
'Cause
go
your
back to.
stomach bloats,
I'm just.
right? Yeah.
Let me go back to the Yankees because when we were talking about that, like I got these memories of like just being in the Bronx, being at Yankee Stadium. So they moved the stadium, right? Now, when I went into the new stadium for the first time, I went to sit in somebody's box. It was amazing. Like the whole layout, the new stadium.
good.
But are the ticket prices insane for the World Series right now?
Of course.
Can
the
people
ticket
from
prices,
the Bronx actually go to the World Series?
The ticket prices have been insane for the regular season games for quite some time.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. The ticket prices are crazy. And I will say this, a lot of people across the world wanted to see the Dodgers and the Yankees face off, but I personally wanted the Subway Series. I really wanted the Mets to make it so that we could have the Subway Series.
Right.
But I know that's not the matchup everybody else
wanted, yeah.
outside of New York wanted.
Yeah.
But I was disappointed that the Mets didn't give me that.
You know, we New Yorkers, we could be very cocky.
Yeah.
Like
right.
we're like, forget the rest of the country. Like we're good. We're gonna do it right
Yeah,
here.
we want the
in
Subway
New York,
Series.
Mets, Yankees. But I mean,
But I'm happy. I'm happy the Yankees made it. I definitely like the Yankees over the Mets, hands down.
I was a Mets fan in '86.
You was a Mets fan?
But I'm from the Bronx. I was a Yankee fan, and then in '86,
What
when the
changed?
Mets won the World Series, I'm really showing my age. This is when I used to watch baseball every day. I don't know anything about it now. I can't name one player. I
Wow.
cannot name one baseball player in the major league.
Not even a popular
right now.
one, like Aaron Judge.
None. Keep going.
Who's
This is horrible.
who's the guy that used to Aaron Rodriguez? A-Rod that used to date Jennifer Lopez.
He don't play anymore though.
He
right?
don't play no more. But I'm saying you can't even
I'm
name
talking
the
about
popular
right now.
ones.
I can name baseball players over the years, but like when we talk about the '86 Mets, I'll name all of them. Darryl Strawberry, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Lenny Dykstra. Like I was watching
Yeah.
baseball every game. I would not miss a game.
Wow.
Today, 2024, I cannot name one baseball player.
Wow.
And here's the question. I know it's not a sports podcast, but are baseball players celebrities anymore like they used to be?
Yeah, they are. For
Are
sure.
they? Like if they
For
were,
sure.
if the Yankees were walking down
For
the block
sure.
right now.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, maybe not the first baseman or the, like if
I
the
absolutely-
catcher
yes.
to the Yankees
Yes, I think
walked
so.
down this block, Would we know who he was?
Maybe not you because you're not into
Somebody
it, but
Google
they are huge.
Yankees catcher.
They're huge.
In the baseball world.
Yeah, people
But, you know,
them.
I feel like coming up, they were bigger celebrities. And now I don't hear about baseball players. You don't think so?
I don't know.
We can't name one right now. We cannot name a major league player right now. Can you?
I just told you, Aaron Judge.
Okay, name another one.
I think about it.
I'm telling you. It's different. I don't know. You know how like basketball players are like bigger celebrities?
Yeah.
Speaking of basketball and New York, the
Shout
New York
out to
Liberty.
the Liberty.
We killing it right now.
Oh, I was watching that game on Sunday, my son and I was just like on edge. When overtime came, I'm like, okay,
New
come
York.
on, we have to close this out. That was the first time in franchise history that the New York Liberty team won a WNBA championship.
Let's give it
That's
up
the
for the
first.
women.
Yeah.
And I went to a game this season, and can I just say, being at the Liberty game,
Amazing.
I never had so much fun at a game in a long time, right? So
Well,
like,
by the way, they broke records. Over 18,000 people attended the game. I attended a few this season, but I attended the one last year, the championship game last year, where they lost by 1 point.
wow.
And I went to the Vegas Aces.
I had so much fun.
It's so much fun.
You know, but I feel like, I don't know if because they're not as popular as like the NBA, that they're doing more. Because I've never had this much fun at a basketball game.
They are getting more popular. Yes,
They're getting more popular.
yes.
But first of all, they have the cutest mascot, Ellie.
Yeah, Ellie is amazing.
I follow Ellie on Instagram. Like,
Everybody
I was so
does.
entertained.
She's a thing.
Yes, she's a thing. And then they have like in between, you know, all the timeouts and everything.
They
like
have
there's a lot of audience interaction.
Yeah.
It just feels good.
I was trying to get the job as the host there.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's so much fun.
It's a lot of fun.
If it was by me, I would take my kids and go to a game all the time,
Yeah.
just because the experience. And I didn't know that. Like,
Yeah.
before I went, I was like,
Me
all
and
right,
my
I'll go to a
family,
WNBA
we go all
game.
the time.
It's
One
fun.
time
A lot
we
of fun.
snuck and we didn't take our son, and he's like, "Are you guys at the Liberty game?" And I'm like, "No, we're just eating
fun.
down the street, and you can hear the
Yeah.
noise." He's like, "That's a lie, Mom. You're at the game."
Yeah. So shout out to the Liberty.
Yeah, shout out
to the
them.
Yankees. You know what? It's a good time for New York.
Yeah.
Except for that one case we have to revisit, because it's like, I feel like every time we get together we talk about what's the new tea
On Diddy, the new charges that were just filed.
on Diddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, everything is an allegation at this point. Everything I think that we haven't seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like on video. This morning, I saw that Quincy had put up a post.
Mm-hmm.
His stepson, his oldest, and the post was just how hard it's been for their family in this time, and you know, it broke my heart a little bit, right? For the kids to have to
Deal with that.
deal with all of this right now. And, you know, a lot of people were very cruel in the comments. They were saying things like, oh, he's, you know, and I'm like, all right, just let his son express
that off, yeah.
what he feels. Like, y'all don't have to attack his son, you know, whether it's true or it isn't true. I mean, all of these allegations.
But you know what's interesting, and I said this before, is like when you are in your own world and you don't change your behaviors, you don't think about how your behaviors impact your entire family and everyone that loves you.
Yeah.
You know, because what you do in the dark not only comes to light for you, but it also comes to light for your family and for people that love you. That's why it's so important for you to change and take a look in the mirror before it's too late.
Yeah.
Because, you know, this Diddy incident should be a lesson learned for everybody involved.
Yeah.
You know, if you are living in an unjust world, you really have to take a moment to say, how do my behaviors not only impact myself, but also my children, my family, the people that love me? You have a lot to lose. He had a lot to lose.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And now, so the trial is set for May 5th. if they don't move it. Everyone will have to wait until then to see what evidence they do have.
I saw that his lawyer did file a motion to, like an injunction to
Yes.
stop the lawsuits.
Yes, I was. You knew I was going right there.
Yeah.
You knew I was going right there because it was interesting to me. I was like, yeah, it's overwhelming. And how could you get a fair trial in the midst of this?
Yeah.
So it's a tough conversation.
Yeah, it's going to impact the jury pool,
Yes,
right?
100%.
Yeah.
Like who doesn't know what's going on?
Right.
Everyone knows what's going on, but the more allegations that are compounded onto his case, and then you don't know if some of these cases are frivolous, right? Like, look,
like that 1-800 number that lawyer put out there. I thought that was a little over the top.
Come on.
Because
It
how
was a little
can
crazy,
you say anyone that called that line had a level of authenticity?
Yeah.
In this day and age. Hell, you can have an AI robot call that line and make up an allegation. How do you know the level of authenticity in this day and age?
Yeah, it's crazy. A hotline is crazy. We talked about this before. I think I just feel like then you get the allegations. Now they're getting even more serious.
Yeah.
Right? With people coming forward and saying they were underage. I read that case where the woman accused him of rape, but it was violent rape
At the MTV Awards
after party.
party,
Yes, that I read that, and I was like, ooh, this is getting uglier.
Yeah. So, I think it's smart for his attorney to file that injunction because it is going to make it very challenging for him to have a fair jury when these lawsuits continue to happen. So hopefully the judge will grant that,
Right.
and that will give him some type of relief.
And
he's deserving of it.
Right, right. Because in no way am I trying to negate, what may or may not have occurred to certain victims. So I feel like it's such a hard conversation to have because it's like some of this stuff you read it and you're like, come on now. Like some of it sounds so far-fetched, but what if something actually happened like that, right? So I almost want to mind my business at this point and let the case go on.
And to anyone that does file a fraudulent lawsuit against him, shame on you.
Yeah.
Because you really take away the voices of the real victims in the case.
Right.
And we should always put the victims first.
Yes.
Because going through something like that is so tragic
And traumatic.
and have to relive that is crazy.
Yeah.
So we got to see how this plays out. I also saw recently that the former CEO of Abercrombie and Finch was arrested today.
Yes.
For
Sex trafficking charges.
Yeah.
This is like I'm almost like, is this stuff all just happening under our noses? Like, what is really going on?
Yeah.
And
so crazy.
And then it was something that I was like, would I have seen this type of? I've noticed that it was covered in a lot of the same entertainment press.
Yeah.
That would have covered Diddy, almost like to balance it out, to show us like his behavior, or the alleged behavior, I should say, also occurs in other businesses, right? Like that was something that I took note of.
We have a guy who is running for the highest office.
Right.
The United States of America's presidential election, who has been found guilty in some sexual assault. We can't curse on here, right?
Stuff. Sexual assault.
And he is running for president.
Yeah.
It goes to show you how misogynistic people are.
Yes.
That you would take this guy serious. He is on the voting ballot on November 5th. November 5th, this guy is on the ballot.
We are so close to the election.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
This airs. When does this air?
I don't know, but I think we should figure that out because it
If-
could go either way, and we don't know. And you know,
But what I'm saying, if they could tell you in your ear, we could edit this piece out. They can't
Yeah.
tell you in your ear. Okay. Pick up here.
air the 6th. Yeah.
This airs the 6th, the day after? Okay. All I'm saying is that think about that for a second.
Well, I know.
Crazy, right?
It's a serious time.
And to think that Kamala has to endure some of the slander that she's been enduring. Think about just recently the football players, Le'Veon Bell and with Antonio Brown,
Right.
wearing the shirt
Right.
Trump or Tramp. When between those three, they have more sexual assault cases than anybody.
Exactly. Preposterous.
Preposterous
is
that
the
they
word
would
I'm
say
gonna
that
use
about
today.
her.
Preposterous.
When how many baby mamas Le'Veon Bell has?
Right.
How many baby mamas that Antonio Brown has?
Yeah.
How many sexual assault cases between those three? Trump, Le'Veon, and Antonio? And you got the nerve. Listen, vote for who you want to vote for.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm saying everybody has a right to
The right to
choose.
choose. Yeah.
This is a democracy. But to call someone a tramp
Mm-hmm.
and to do the things that they have been doing, I feel like goes beyond the scope of just competition.
Yeah.
You're just assassinating her at this point.
I mean, but we know we're in a misogynistic culture. We know what
Yes.
it is. Just as women in this industry,
Yeah.
right? Like, and everything that we've had to deal with. Like, we started out by saying you have to have tough skin because we were talking about our appearance and the comments that people were saying online. You do, like in every aspect. I think as a woman, when you're coming up and climbing the corporate ladder, you just have to have tough skin because they're going to attack you. And you know, with women, it's so misogynistic. Like, it's always like attacking you. I don't want to get into like just like your past and relationship history and the things that a lot of men who are in the public don't have to deal with.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And it happens in every industry.
Yeah.
Think about, women who have been overqualified for a job.
Right.
And still has to prove herself.
Right. It's Kamala. Look at
Yeah.
Kamala's track record.
And still has to prove herself.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
Yeah.
The level of scrutiny that women have to go through, particularly women of color
Right.
have to go through in order to get ahead when they are more qualified and more level-headed and can execute any plan or vision and still have to go through the BS. It's insane.
It's crazy.
Speaking of crazy, I never thought this would happen.
What?
Big Meech is home.
Oh, we're going to jump to that one. So, okay, there's a lot that I could say because I have been following the BMF story since 2000 and I don't know, 3 or 4, because I wrote an article on BMF
At the source?
when I was at the source. There was a time at the source where we started covering like sort of like this. Remember when Feds and Don Diva and all the street magazines were a thing? Like they really started to become like that source of information for people. It's almost like YouTube now. Like there's this underworld of YouTube where people talk about street figures and their subscribers and their numbers are in the 100,000s because people love the story. It's why
Yeah.
50 Cent did the BMF series.
But Don Diva was a really big magazine back then.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
Kevin Charles and Tiffany Charles, they did that magazine. I was tied in with them. We had a column. We had a Feds column in the source. And at
Yeah.
the time, there were some interesting stories that I was doing in the magazine. One of them was on BMF when they decided to become a music label. Another one was on Walter Tutt Johnson, who also was just released from prison or is about to be released. I think that these stories in our culture have become like they're the narratives that people are following. So like, shout out to Big Meech, he's home. I'm seeing it all over online.
But a lot of those record executives were trying, some of them, let me paraphrase,
Yeah.
were trying to get clean. Some of them were trying to wash their money, but some of them were really trying to go legit.
Right.
You know, and as you know, sometimes it takes time to get out the game.
Right.
And the music industry, at the time, it kind of still is a lucrative business where, in an easier business where you can go legit. You could.
Well, did you watch the BMF series
I did.
on Stars?
Yes.
Okay, because they told a lot of that story there, right, with their businesses and how, you know, their father was into music and then he decided, like he was always with the records, and then he decided to go into the music business. I also think the other side of that is that there is a passion for music and that they do want to, not just, because I don't want to make it seem like we're saying like a lot of street figures try to wash their money. We know that's the case.
No,
right?
no. I'm not saying
Everybody,
all
who got the
street-
laundromat? Who
No,
got the
no,
laundromat?
I'm not saying all street guys got into the music business to wash their money. Majority of them got into the music industry to get out the drug game. I know a lot of street guys.
Right.
Not saying I know them now, but I knew a lot of street guys.
Past tense.
Who got into the game to go legit.
Right.
I'm not just talking about BMF.
Right.
I know a lot of different labels that were funded from the streets in order to go legit, to get out of the streets. And it was an easier way.
Right.
Because they knew, okay, if this costs this, and then I flip it for this, oh, boom, if I go in the studio and make an album and the album is price point at this, and I put this many albums out, then I double back. You know what I'm saying? The math was mathing kind of the same.
This is the part of the conversation where I go back into the bush. Only because I feel like these conversations started to bubble up. And for some people who I will not mention, because I've been getting a lot of stuff online where people think it's a personal agenda against certain people. And I'm like, no, I'm just speaking matter-of-factly and talking about the culture, and I don't have any problems with certain people. So, like, we know, and I was there when, you know, there were charges against people, right, for what we're talking about.
So, I know. Can I say, since you can't say?
Yes. I mean,
you're talking about Supreme, right?
They did.
Yeah, because Supreme went to jail.
Yeah, but I'm talking more specifically about the Murder Inc. case.
Well, that too.
And they won that case.
And they won. They
were charged with the money laundering, and they won.
They won.
Yeah.
I was actually in that documentary that aired about
Murder Inc.
Murder Inc. But yeah, they did win. But the case was built around.
Right. And it's very complicated too, because I think, you know, a lot of people in hip hop came up with people from the streets. So there are affiliations there. It doesn't necessarily mean that they crossed over, right, and to like wash their money. And I think that for us, especially when I was at the Source and I used to report on stuff like this, we were careful with the things that we said in the magazine, because we knew that authorities could read it, misinterpret it, and people could end up being charged. We were very careful. We had to be responsible.
Why do you think the hip-hop police exist in New York City?
Right.
I don't know if it's a thing across the country, but in New York, there's a whole task force called the hip-hop police.
If you continue to talk in the media about certain things, like they will use that and bring charges up on you, and we know that. So when it comes to stuff like that, sometimes I get like very careful with like what I say, because I know I have a lot of information and I don't want to put it out there, because I'm like, oh, that might get misinterpreted. Now, yeah, this is leading me into this conversation that I want to bring up, and it's funny because it's just where I'm going with it. It's like really when we talk about the Diddy stuff and the Tupac stuff, that's a serious conversation that people are having, right? The connection to Tupac, because, and I will say this, so that this is timely and it's not like I'm just putting this out there. Piers Morgan did an interview with Tupac's brother. Did you see that?
I don't watch nothing Piers Morgan does anymore.
Well,
I just can't. I can't do it.
It comes up on my timeline, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very conscious of this type of stuff. And he did an interview with Pac's brother, Mopreme Shakur. And he asked him, did he think that Diddy had anything to do with that particular murder of Tupac? And, you know, they spent a whole, I don't know how many minutes on it. And I feel like it's a narrative in hip hop that has been going and going and going for years, right? Like you hear the whispers and the accusations, and the more people say, I mean, look, Eminem said it on one of his records, right? To me, that's crazy.
Yeah, but
to me, that's crazy.
No,
like when you
I
just
get
say
it.
something like that, I'm like, and that's Eminem. And I don't know, everybody gonna jump in the comments like, she don't like Eminem. Eminem don't like her. It ain't about that. I'm just saying what it is. Do you know what I mean? I mean, even 50 Cent just talked in the Us Weekly magazine about, they asked him basically like why he was saying so much about the Diddy case. And he responded that he's been saying this for years, right? Not really an answer where it was like, okay, you know, I have an agenda. He didn't say that. But, and I want to be clear on that too, because everybody's going to be like, oh, she doesn't like it. That is not true. We good. It's not that serious. But when I'm looking at the media and looking at the coverage and I see that, like, it's a big article to go in Us Weekly and address why you've been so much on the offense when it comes to talking about what's going on. Because you notice a lot of artists aren't really speaking about it. They're not really speaking about the case.
I mean, to be honest, it is a difficult thing to speak about.
But I can understand that.
I can understand
I can
why.
understand that, right? Like when we
and
think about...
And they're not journalists where they need to speak about it.
But
they're not media, they're just artists.
So when there are artists who are saying things, it's kind of like, well, why are you speaking on that, right? Like, you're not, I guess, I don't know, like, artists kind of are the new media these days, some of them. Like, they're transitioning to podcasters.
Well, some
they're
of them,
transitioning.
those who want to speak on it are speaking on it. But I don't judge those who aren't speaking on it, because I understand it's a very challenging situation, and because it has gotten so complicated,
right,
that it's like, where do you even begin to speak on it? Where does the truth begin and the lie end? Because it's so convoluted now. You know what I mean? But one thing I have found very interesting is Dame Dash conversations lately in terms of Aaliyah and R. Kelly. And one of the things he said to Aaliyah about, you know, not going to shoot the video and stuff like that. And I'm just like, because of that history, I'm just like, why are you deep diving into this now? And it makes me question a lot about him.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel like...
Because let me say this, I believe everything that Dame Dash says.
Yeah? I don't know if I believe everything.
I believe everything that he says. I don't think he's lying about anything. I think he might have an agenda for saying this stuff now. He has a network. He's putting all of this content on his YouTube, and why not? Everyone else is. But I believe what he's saying. He's an honorable person when it comes to his stories. I don't think I've ever really caught him in a lie online, like looking at stuff that he said. Like, he's pretty honest with his perspective. Now, that doesn't mean I agree with everything that Damon says. I don't agree with all of his viewpoints, but I don't think I've ever seen him lie.
I'm just, you know, and then I saw R. Kelly's daughter come out and say that she was molested by her father. And I saw people kind of attack her in the comments and say, you know, why are you telling this now in a documentary and blah, 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 blah. And what people don't realize is that when you have been sexually abused, it takes years to uncover that trauma. And especially when you've been abused by someone that close to you. Sometimes there are stages where you bury that so deep that you begin to question whether or not that even happened to you.
Right.
So to go through that and to have enough courage to say, my father did that to me, I don't think that's something that someone would do to make that up. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like you got to understand the level that you go through when you suffer that level
I agree with that.
Sexual abuse.
Yeah, that's like, I always say it's hard for people to speak out about these situations, you know.
Yeah.
But wait, that isn't connected to Dame, right? You went into the R. Kelly
No, it
thing.
is connected to
Did he
Dame.
say something about her?
I was saying Damon Dash had said these things about R. Kelly, which made me go into his daughter coming out. But to go back to Dame Dash, if Aaliyah has said these things to you, and you knew that this man was capable of these things, why didn't you report it? Why didn't you report it to authorities?
Right.
Why didn't you step up? Because at the time you were Dame Dash.
Right.
The guy. You had everything in your stratosphere. Why didn't you take the initiative to report it and get him locked up?
I'm going to speculate because we don't know that he knew what was really going on with other women. He said that he knew what was happening between R. Kelly and Aaliyah, whatever she confided in him. And that could have been a choice that she made, right? Like she could have said, don't say anything or, you know, because that's not really his narrative or his fight to do if she doesn't sanction it, if she doesn't tell him to go do it. If I went through something tragic and traumatic.
Now? So why is he doing it now? So if she sanctioned him not to say anything and to keep that intimate conversation, then why are you violating her now and doing it in her
But why
death?
do you think it's violating? Because he's saying that he knows the situation between them?
I'm saying if you're playing devil's advocate,
Right.
and you're saying that and she didn't give him authority to say it, and maybe then if she didn't give you authority then to say it because she didn't want it out there, why are you putting it out there now?
I think it's already out there now. I think the difference between back then and now is that now it's widespread. So like, I don't think there's been books written about it. There's been documentaries done. Like people know now that it was a situation. So I feel like he's probably more, and I don't want to speak for him, right? But I feel like he's probably more willing to talk about it now and to talk about his experience. And then let me just say this, because I think storytelling is the new content king, right? Anyone who gets out and tells their stories, that's where you're building community. And I know from a business standpoint, and he is a businessman, that he's building his community. And he's doing it through speaking about it. And I've watched some of the videos that he's done recently. I watched what we're talking about now. I also watched a video he did where he talked about, his Clark Kent, who's, struggling right now. I watched that video. It was very heartfelt, emotional, and he told the story of how Clark Kent, and I'm talking about DJ Clark Kent, how he really is the reason for Rockefeller existing. And I know that story because when I was writing the Rockefeller story back at the source, DJ Clark Kent helped me. You know what I'm saying? Like he was that person in the culture.
So what is going on with Clark Kent?
I would rather not say what I don't know, right, and what I've read, because I know that there may be some health issues there that he's dealing with, and his family has asked for everyone to respect that. And look,
So
as
why
a journalist,
would the source post an article that said he passed away without getting proper confirmation from his family?
that is a great question. And I was in conversations about that with people because part of what I do, I think, even though I don't work there anymore and I don't write the articles I used to write, is that I talk to journalists a lot about coverage and how to cover things and what's important. And that's something that I know people have said, oh, well, why is everyone rushing to put up a story like that?
Is it because they want to be the first?
yes, it could be, right? But also, like, they put out a statement and said that someone in the family had told them that, and and granted, you should have went and got a statement from the family, right? You should have had, you see that little thing? You should have had, you know, should have been able to fact checked, right? You should have went out and did that before you ran with it. And they weren't the only outlet that did that. Yeah. There were a few outlets, or a couple outlets at least, that I saw that actually ran that. And it's a sad situation, right?
It is, because it's very traumatic,
yeah,
for a family to have to go through that. You know, when, God bless the dead, Kay Slay passed away, and I got the call from his mother. Yeah. You know, we had been in conversation so much prior to that in terms of like his health, yeah, and how he was doing and what he was battling with and how she wanted it, yeah, you know, to the public. And when people got word, you know, that he had transitioned, we weren't the first to put it out there because we wanted, yes, to do it in honor,
respectfully,
how his mother wanted it done. And she, yeah, wanted it done in a particular way. And she wanted to approve the messaging. She wanted, you know, and I think it's so important to a family to give them that when, mm-hmm, they're grieving. Mm-hmm. You know, I know for me, it was so important to make sure his mother had the final say, because that's her son. To, yes, us, he's Kay Slay, but to her, that's her son.
Yeah, that's her son. You know what, though? I will say, I feel like this media generation is a lot different than the one we were in.
Yeah.
And we were a close community when we reported things. Like, we wanted to make sure the family was okay with things that we said, even with his health struggles, right? Like, you don't just want to put something like that out there without talking to him or talking to the family and just respectfully figuring out, okay, well, you know, what are you comfortable with us reporting on, right? Because that is such a serious thing.
But it goes back to your point.
But that's integrity.
But no, and it also goes to your point that you made earlier. A lot of people who have these platforms have subscription-based platforms. Right. And their bread and butter comes from people that pay to subscribe.
Right.
So if you notice, like when people are on chats and they're on Twitch and they're on, mm-hmm, this and they're on that, that subscription or Patreon, you're paying for their lifestyle. You're paying.
The game has changed.
It's changed.
It's definitely changed.
Yeah.
The media game has changed.
So they need to be able to feed the machine.
Right.
They need their views up. They need their lives, right, up. They need to feed the stream. So it's like, I got to be the first. Yep. I got to get it out there. Yep. I got to do this. I'll fact check later. Or I don't even care about fact checking. Because the truth, the lie is more entertaining than the truth. I don't even need to recant a story because the lie is so good, right, that I'm getting this click. I'm getting this, look, shoot, Donald Trump just faked the whole freaking McDonald's takeout order. The McDonald's was closed. The people who were employees were staying.
Wasn't he
and
in the Bronx at the barbershop? I said, this is all for show.
Yo, the people that ordered the food were his supporters.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But he's a reality television man. Yeah. He knows how to stage all of that. Yeah. But I say all that to say, it's like we're in this era where people subscribe to the content, so they got to keep feeding the machine, because how else would their lifestyle be?
Yeah.
You know, we come from a different era where it was integrity. It was like credibility. Your credibility meant something more than a paycheck. They don't have that now. People don't care about that now. And like, I guess for us who are seasoned people, it's our jobs to teach that to the generation coming behind us. It's like I try to instill in my son, not everything you see on TikTok is the truth.
Yeah, like that's a whole research, everybody. Research, I think, is the key word for today, because I feel like people don't do enough research. They just like kind of take a headline and run with it and then repeat it. It's like the game of telephone.
And everybody posts the same thing and just changes up the headline a little bit. If you look at all of these blog sites and all of these places, they all one person posts something,
and it's the same news cycle.
Post
It's the same news cycle.
No different spin.
There's nobody
They don't write
trying
it
to do
different.
their own story. There has been a little. Did you see the little fly
little gnat.
with me? The little gnat is here. Is here with us at BronxNet. They want to the little gnat. Anyway.
But I say that to say is that they don't even take the time. They all sound like Chat GPT.
Right.
They all just take the same thing, switch up the words a little bit, and post the same thing.
Yeah, let's get some better stories out there, guys.
Yeah.
Like, and also let's celebrate people when they deserve to be celebrated. I definitely want to celebrate a Tribe Called Quest who got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Shout out to them. Tribe Called Quest is like my favorite rap group of all time. There's like a couple. I have a few, but Tribe Called Quest is my favorite. So to wait for them to get that, I'm so happy for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's his name? Still look good. God, help me out.
Who?
Member of the
Of Tribe?
yeah.
Q-Tip?
Q-Tip. Damn, he still looks good. I was watching. I was like, damn, he still look good.
You're aging like fine wine out there, my brother.
Wine. It gets better with time.
Did you see the trailer? Last thing before you go, TT. Did you see the trailer for the Shine doc?
I did not.
Oh, well, it leaked.
Oh, really?
It's coming on Hulu.
Okay.
I'm excited to watch it. It looks good, you know. I mean, I know they've been working on it for a couple of years, but I guess when we come back, maybe I will have seen it, and then we can have a conversation about it. So try to watch it if it comes. I think it comes out mid-November maybe, but I'll find out. But we should try to watch it so we can talk about it.
Dropping.
Yeah.
Megan Thee Stallion is dropping her documentary too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on Amazon Prime, I believe, on October 31st.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good.
So I'm assuming she's going to talk about, the Tory Lanez shooting.
Ooh, it's going to be good out there, but make sure you all watch it so you can tune in with us, check in with us, and we'll give you our feedback because we always keep it very real here on the Trigger Warning Podcast. Also, wait, before we go, I want to say that this show is going to air on BronxNet on Wednesdays. So all y'all come back at 6 p.m. Eastern. Well, it would only be Eastern in the Bronx, right? All right, Kim, But yes, 6 p.m. on Wednesday.
Tune in every Wednesday, 6 p.m., okay?
Yes, every other Wednesday.
Every other Wednesday.
We're still deciding. We don't know. We're still deciding.
Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube page. I am TT Torrez on YouTube, at TT Torrez.
Yeah, let me say that. Kim Osorio Media. Please subscribe, like, comment. I know y'all out there with the comments, but continue to do it. I love it, even when it's,
not so good.
Even when it's not so good. Let's just be respectful and have a dialogue. So you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Kim Osorio Media. Follow me on Instagram at Kim Osorio1. That's all O's, KIMOSORIO, the number 1.
And download Trigger Warning where you get all of your podcasts, okay? Thank you guys.
All right, see you guys next time.
All right, well, thank you guys for watching.
Yes, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.